Hi, this is Thomas with Believe in the Run.
This is Megan with Believe in the Run.
And we're excited.
Are we?
I think so. And this isn't typical for us.
Because it's a Brooks shoe.
Yes, it is. It is the Brooks Ghost Max. Typically, I've been a little rough on Brooks in the past.
Sure
I don't
have.
feel like they've innovated as much as some of the other running companies. I feel like they stuck with EVA foams that just don't have any characteristic in it, even though they give different marketing names. They've come out recently with some more nitrogen-infused foams and some newer DNA LOFT V2, which is in this shoe.
Yeah.
But I haven't really gotten excited about Brooks shoes in a while. Things are changing.
Yeah. For starters, love the look of this guy.
I do too, and it kind of got mixed bag. Some people called it the Toyota Camry.
I did hear that. I disagree. I like the look. I don't know what you people are talking about.
I like the look. I think it's got a really nice, the colors are modern. This is kind of like a putty gray. I like it. Yours is kind of like, what would you call that?
Kardashian vibes. It's like that.
Pumpkin latte?
Sure.
Besides it just kind of looking a little better and having a better aesthetic, and I like some of the detailing they did throughout the shoe. Let's talk about how it runs in a minute, but I guess we should break down the upper like we always do, and then the midsole, and then the outsole. So let's get into it, Meg. What do we got on the top?
You got a pretty traditional mesh upper on the top here. A lot of padding around the collar and tongue to give you that like true daily trainer vibe. It is not a gusseted tongue, to your dismay, I know. But I didn't have any issues with it moving around, and I thought, you know, step-in feel, the sizing, it's wide and accommodated my wide foot just fine, and it's just a generally comfortable feeling upper.
I feel like you missed the opportunity to call it an engineered mesh. You just call it a mesh, like they didn't have any engineers working on it. Engineered mesh up, Meg's got it right. Logo acts as a bit of an overlay here on the saddle of the shoe. The tongue is nice and puffy and cushioned. The laces are puffy and cushioned. It's kind of
plush.
It's got that plush
feeling.
vibe. Typically, I don't like these yarny, soft laces, but I will say these stayed tied. I didn't do any special tie with them, and I didn't find I had any issues with them. I think they stretch and then kind of contract back, so it makes a nice secure knot. The tongue, while not gusseted, again, I didn't have an issue with it sliding around, so both Megan and I are gonna let it slide that it doesn't have a gusset. A gusset.
Doesn't have a guffet either.
It doesn't, no guffets, no gussets.
Zero guffets.
It does have a nice lockdown on the heel. No heel lift for me.
Yeah, no issues with that at all. Yeah, just a really nice, plush, comfy feeling upper.
Did a normal 7.5 fit your
Normal
foot?
size, perfect.
Yes, mine 10.5. Fit like a glove. I love the fit of the upper. They really nailed it in. I have no complaints about this upper.
All right, so let's move on to the fun stuff that we all love to talk about, the foam, which Thomas mentioned earlier. This is the DNA LOFT V2. It is surprisingly very light and bouncy, kind of responsive, but it feels good underfoot.
It almost has like a hollowish feel to it.
Yeah.
It's very, I don't want to call it styrofoam, but it has a very light, well-cushioned landing. I could wish that it had a little more rebound in the foam. Overall, I really enjoyed the cushioning and the way that they did the 6mm drop with the rocker. It rolls through your stride. So even though it's not one of those shoes that pops off the toe or bounces, I still found that it motored along quite nicely.
Yeah, like you were saying, the rocker geometry does a really nice job with that roll through, and then I don't know if you said other than the 6mm drop, but it's 39mm of foam underfoot, 33 in the forefoot. So you get a ton of stack underfoot, but it's still really light.
So unlike the other Ghost, the regular Ghost, that has a 10mm drop, and where you're losing that, it has basically the same stack in the back, but it has less stack in the forefoot, and that's really where I like to feel a shoe give me support. I land midfoot to forefoot, and having that extra cushion under the front of the shoe really makes a difference for me. Did you notice it under your foot?
Yeah, I mean, I love more cushion, so obviously I'm gonna like the 4 extra millimeters you have under the forefoot here. And yeah, I'm with you. I felt like it gave it a more plush ride, a more comfortable ride, and just overall liked it. While my women's 7.5 came in at 8.6 ounces or 245 grams, which is you know, right in line with a lot of daily trainers. It felt lighter out on the roads just because I think most of that weight is coming from this plush upper, and the foam is so light underneath of your foot that it feels even lighter out on the roads.
When you talk about most of the weight coming from the upper, I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. I think that it's more that it's distributed throughout the shoe. The entire shoe doesn't feel like bottom heavy or anything like that. It just fit on the shoe right, and with that light feeling foam, it did give a lighter than its scale weight feel.
Yeah.
My 10.5 weighed 10.8 ounces or 305 grams, which is kind of getting on the heavier side for a daily trainer, but this one doesn't feel sluggish. It doesn't feel like I said, it doesn't feel bottom heavy on your foot. It's not like you feel like you have a pendulum swinging at the bottom there.
Yeah, so I use this all for easy recovery runs. I did a couple strides. I felt like for me, this fell perfectly for those easy days. I think if you really wanted to pick it up in this, you could, just because it is light, but it doesn't have that like fast day shoe, tempo day shoe.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the outsole here on this DNA Loft V2. You got a lot of rubber, Meg.
Yeah, plenty of rubber coverage here, so you're gonna get lots of miles out of this one. I think I have probably 50 or so on this pair so far, and I mean, they feel as fresh as day one.
And it doesn't even look, it's hard to tell because hers is the same color as the midsole.
Yeah.
So it's tough to see, but there's a lot of detail still in this rubber, so you haven't really scuffed it up that bad, so I think there's gonna be plenty. My shoes, same deal, so I do think this is gonna be a durable shoe. You're talking about a block of foam that may compress over time, but so far mine feels pretty good. I'd say there's a slight difference between when we first took it out of the box, but it feels really good. I use it for pretty much the same thing that Meg did, easy miles. So some shoes that are out on the market right now that I would compare this to would be the Nimbus from Asics. I'd say New Balance's 1080 gives a similar feel of cushioning. So of those shoes, Meg, this kind of has a little bit of a different characteristic. What I'd say this one leans more towards the Puma, where it's a little, you get the cushion, but it's a little firmer, and you don't get as much sink in as the other two shoes I mentioned. So if you're looking for a shoe that doesn't feel like too plush, like I feel like sometimes the Nimbus, if you're going out,
soft,
you go out and you're like, okay, I can't pick up the pace in this. This is certainly a cruiser. This one gives you kind of like that middle ground where it's not quite as soft. So those are shoes you might want to check out alongside of this. We really enjoyed our miles in this, so Meg.
This is going to be an easy green light for me. This is definitely my favorite Brooks shoe to date, I think. I mentioned in my written review the Aurora BL, that fun one back there. I really enjoyed that shoe, but this Brooks Ghost Max is definitely one of my favorites, and I love that.
I'm also gonna give it an enthusiastic green light. Meg mentioned some other shoes. I also like the Aurora BL. I thought that was a lot of fun. The closest other shoe that I liked from Brooks recently was the Hyperion Max, so anything with Max on it seems to be making me happy, so keep the Max, maybe get rid of the minimal. This shoe we didn't mention though, the price, $150. So again, puts it $10 less expensive than what we're seeing is kind of like a trend right now for the premium daily trainer. I think the shoe feels great, it looks good.
And this will be available October 1st. If you're interested in snagging this, you gotta wait a little bit, but it'll be here soon. It'll probably be here before we know it.
All right, Meg, so we've rounded this out. Again, done a thorough review of one of the shoes that we've enjoyed running in from Brooks. And what do we want people to do?
Definitely go like this video if you have not yet. Subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, join our Strava group. We also have 2 podcasts that drop. One is The Drop, which comes out every Friday and Monday, and the other one is Fuel for the Soul that we do with Megan Featherston that comes out every other Tuesday.
And the best way to see everything we're doing is just subscribe to our email. It's easy, go to believeintherun.com where we have all our written reviews, and you can go ahead, subscribe there, and you get a weekly rundown of everything that we've reviewed or posted online. So
plus some witty little thing from Robbie at the end.
Yeah,
worth it.
Totally worth it. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll see you next time. The other thing though, Meg, that I want to mention about this shoe is I totally forgot at this point. Geez, what did I want to say? Ding.
Mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yeah,